Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about the creation process of this great cube animation in Framer using the cube that I created in the first tutorial of this cube animation series, which you can find the link for in the description. I will also leave the link to this Framer file in case you want to check and remix. The cube has a nice ticker animation inside, and as we scroll down, its top side opens and a ticker gets transformed, creating the illusion that it comes out of the box. In every following section, the cube gets transformed, then the new side at top opens, and the ticker with the sections icon comes out. Of course, to keep the rotation direction same clockwise, for the sixth variant, I needed to rotate the cube the long way, like rotating it 320 degrees instead of 40, etc. And the whole process took lots of trial and error, as in almost every design and prototype. So let's start breaking down the process. First, let's get the section component out of the way, before getting into the scroll variant transforms and the cube component. After creating the first section, I decided to turn it into a component before duplicating it, to be able to quickly apply some changes and edit the content, defining variables for both section title and the content, which is generated by ChatGPT. As you see, we can easily edit its content by using the component variables. As scroll section, I started with 2 for the first section, to keep the scroll section numbers same as the variants, to keep things simple and avoid any confusion. I used a subtle gradient that goes to transparency as section background to make the starting point of each section clear without using any borders. I used great scroll variant feature of Framer, which gives us flexibility to use the transitions and animations we want. As you can see from the settings here, when the following section is in the middle of the viewport, the cube component gets switched to the variant for that section, which creates our animations. Let's check the most complex part of this whole animation, cube component variants. Of course, the very first variant is the one we see first, and when we view the first section, variant 2 gets activated and so on. Since we need to use a single variant for the section in the view, in order to create the side opening animation, I used a time transition or a peer interaction. So basically, when the scroll section 2 is in the view, cube components variant 2 is activated, which activates variant 2 too, just after half a second, as you see in the interaction settings. While variant 2 is selected, let's preview the component. As you see, first our cube is closed, and then we see the transition to its open state. Let's get to the component structure. I used the cube that I created in the first tutorial of the series. Again, its link is in the description, so I didn't need to recreate anything about the cube itself. But after deciding to create a ticker inside of the cube and transforming it after side opening animation, things started to get really complicated, as I needed to retransform the ticker for each variant. Since whenever I rotated the cube to make another side on top, I needed to edit both 3D rotation values and component properties of ticker to get it to work properly. For instance, direction of the ticker in second variant is set to bottom, while the one in the variant 3 is set to top because of the cube's rotation. Of course, having preserved 3D property for the cube frame was really helpful to make all elements inside cube, including ticker, to be at the same 3D space. I think one of the biggest challenges was changing the icons of tickers for each variant, since when I placed a ticker inside of the cube component, its icon was not editable anymore. You can see when I select a ticker, its children property is not editable on the right panel, so I needed to temporarily take the ticker out of the cube component, change its icon, and take it back into the component. Actually, let me demonstrate all the steps required to create a new variant. Let's duplicate a closed variant, delete its interaction to its open state, and then let's say we made the transform and rotation of the cube using its 3D rotate properties. Then I open the side at top by rotating it, and then duplicate the existing ticker, and let's name it ticker test, and hide the old one by making this visible no. And let's make the transforms the new ticker needs, like adjusting its size and placement. Now we need to change the ticker's icon, right? Since it is not possible while the ticker is inside of the component, we need to take it out of it. Now we can duplicate the icon of the previous variant. And under material component properties, we can change it to the new icon we need. Now we need to rename the icon. Let's say icon 8. Now we can define the new icon for ticker and select it under the children property. And after these changes, since our ticker for the new variant is ready, we can carry it back to its place, right? And then we should preview and adjust the transform of the ticker if needed. Let's say it is okay. Since we need also the closed state of the new variant, we need to duplicate it, and we should place it under the new variant we created, and we need to rename it. It is the second version of the current variant, and to create the new variant pair's closed state, we need to make the ticker smaller first and adjust its placement, and then close the cube, right? Then we need to select the close variant and drag an interaction to its open version and define an appear interaction and entering the same amount of delay with the other variants. Then we can select the closed state of the new variant and preview it, right? To check if it works properly, and it does. Basically, these were the steps that I repeated for each component variant. I'd like to mention another detail about the animation. I used letters for each side. Let's make the one for the front side actually visible, and I copied it to all sides, and it helped me while previewing the animation to follow and decide which side to move next. Let's talk about these extra variants like 6364 and 7374. As I mentioned in the beginning, in the sixth variant, to keep the rotation clockwise, I needed to rotate the cube the long way, like making Y rotation minus 320 degrees instead of 40 degrees. After that rotation, I wanted the last transform to be fancy as well, so I also rotated it the long way. Let's see the difference going back to home screen and changing the variant for 6th section to 6.3 and for 7th section to 7.3. So let's preview the last two rotations for feedback and size sections. As you see, they are similar to the previous ones. But when we change them back to the original variants, like for section 6, variant 6 and 747, let's preview. So we can see the difference clearly, right? You can select whichever you want if you remix this file. Honestly, I think it's a nice middle ground to keep them this way, as making all of the rotations long way can be overwhelming for the user. And that wraps up our breakdown. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe and turn the notifications on, as I'm going to make more videos. Also, don't forget to check other tutorials at the end screen. So see you in the next one.